Well, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Oyetola and I hope you had a great weekend. It was an active weekend, especially as it relates to politics. Well, if you want regional politics in the sense that, I don't know if that is what to call it, but talking about the state of Osun, that reminds you of a certain individual. Osun State is Osun State, but the state of Osun brings forward memories. Anyhow, the encounter happened on Saturday and by all accounts, it went well. So we're going to be asking a successful conclusion to the election for APC, the ruling party in the state. Okay, and of course, we want to hear your take from home as well. That's one of the main reasons for living off the program. We want to hear from you. Now, my guest this morning, Honorable Remi Omowaye, Osun State Commissioner for Works and Transport. A fine morning to you, sir, Mr. Commissioner.
Morning, sir.
Thank you very much for coming on. And our friend, Dari Odufuokon, Assistant Editor at The Nation. We shall also be joined, technology allowing, by the Chief Whip, Osun State House of Assembly, Honorable Tunji. He is there. Honorable Tunde Olatunji, a fine morning to you.
Good morning, sir. It's good to be with you again.
Indeed. Our pleasure here. So let me start from in studio. The election, the primary election for the ticket, actually these are different times in that ordinarily you wouldn't think that a sitting governor would need to go through primaries. Ordinarily. Nothing wrong with the fact that it did, but that election, it went according to plan, would you say? According to expectations?
Well, thank you so much. That's the beauty of democracy. And that's the beauty of direct primary. You know your true strength. Before now, I've spoken to a lot of people that if the man running against the governor should have 10%, I'll stop doing politics. And eventually when the result came out, it was less than 10%. Because this is about the people. It's not a delegate system that you can't know what they will do. Mm-hmm. But this is about the people. So you already have a clue of what will happen. And I'm happy the thing went well. Because there was so much tension before the election. The security presence was massive. We had military on the street. You had mobile police, DSS, civil defense, Amotekun Hunter. So
with good reason, heavily. With good reason?
Good reason, because there was so much tension before the
war drums.
Before the primaries. But eventually, it went smoothly. It was peaceful. And with the advent of social media, people were watching live. They saw it, and they saw the true strength of Governor Gboyega.
Okay, it's an interesting assessment. I'm going to come back to you. I say that because you have actually worked with both principals.
Yeah.
You served under Aregbesola.
Yes, it's our Ghana.
And you are serving now under the incumbent governor, Oyetola. So, you know, when you made that point, which you might want to expatiate upon or not, is that if even 10% went the other way, you would have been very, very surprised.
Because it's about, politics is about structure. You might be a popular politician, but if you don't have structure, you can't win election. That's why you see a lot of popular politicians, they'll come out, run for election, they won't win. Policy is not about how you can speak. Obayagmo speaks very well, you want to listen to him speak, but you run for election, you don't win. So, Governor Oyetola has a structure. And for direct primary, option A4, you will see it. So okay. It's straightforward.
Let me go to Honorable Tunde Olatunji. The same question to you, Honorable. Any surprises, or did it come, about very much the way you had expected?
Well, thank you. The election went as expected. It was a great day for us as a party, for us as a people. I'm proud of our party members in the state of Osun. I'm also quite impressed with the level of civility on the day of election. Our people show that indeed it's a family affair. And as for those who also exercise their duty as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as well as that of our political party, to throw their heart into the ring We commend them. The election has come. The people have spoken. And of course, it's victory for democracy. And that's the beauty of it. And so the election went well. The election did not come as a surprise. Mr.
The outcome of the election.
The outcome of the election.
That is what didn't come as a surprise.
Oh no, it did not come as a surprise.
Okay.
Because it's about leadership. Mr. Governor had led this state with a level of leadership that is commendable, that is acceptable to our people largely. Of course, there is no system where you have what is 100%. But for any aspirant to go into an election at the primaries and come out with about 94.3% success, I'm sure that is to show that indeed the people are in sync with Governor Gboyega or Oyetola, and for the other two who are also leaders of our party, who also choose to exercise their civic rights within our party. We are proud of them and their people for making the election a huge success. Thank you very much.
All right, Honorable Olatunji, of course I'm going to come back to you. Dari, in-house, we are in the shop, so to speak. Yeah. So let's look at it from the shop point of view. Is it a situation of all's well that ends well, or is there still much work to be done? I'm talking here about perhaps reconciliations, because I heard victorious Governor Oyetola yesterday saying that it was a victory for all of us, and he stretched his hand to the other participants, say, look, come, let's work together. It's a victory for all of us. So there's going to be a reconciliation part to all of this, perhaps.
Yes, it's the way to go, and typical of Governor Gboyega. You see, I talk about him in a manner that many would conclude that I must be a diehard supporter, but I would say no. You see, this is somebody who came into government with, from those of us who are critics, little or no expectation. Well, another man has come. Let's see, business as usual.
Okay, from the point of view of observers.
Observers. But you must give it to him. In performance, he has done what the people of Osun want. What you saw on Saturday, as people who covered the election, I want to tell you that the election on Saturday is a reflection of what obtains in Osun today. The people came out to vote based on their convictions. Across the state, observers, journalists, we went round and we saw the fact that Osun people, there is something that is evolving in Osun today. They are becoming true party people. Whichever party they belong to, they always believe in the supremacy of the party. Whoever wants to do politics in Osun should take that into cognizance. The moment the party says, this is the leadership of the party in Osun, and the leadership of the party says, the governor is performing, and the people could see, they decided that, look, we are not going to go factional. Efforts to factionalize the APC in Osun has actually not paid off. Those who are claiming to have a faction probably were feeding the former governor with their level of strength. The people are with us. We have divided the party. But Saturday proved that all wrong. I have been saying it on this program, that what is on ground in Osun does not reflect a factionalized party. It reflects a party that a few people are troubling. And the people, the real party people in Osun, believes this is our party, it must survive. And that's what happened. So what you saw on Saturday was a governor who came into a state where civil servants are owed salaries for months before he's coming. And as we speak today, almost 4 years into in office, he's not owing a month. Osun is a civil service state. Take care of the workers. Other things will matter. Refuse to take care of the workers, your roads will look like trouble to them.
You're in trouble.
Because they're tired of riding bicycles to work. I have been involved in the politics of covering the politics of Osun for years, as Honorable will attest. There were years in the past that what we know in the Osun primary schools are, you see teachers parking bicycles. So if you talk about good or bad roads, they are not interested. But today, the teachers get their money in good time. They get other emoluments, other civil servants. So you go to a primary school in Osun and you see people parking cars.
You know,
The economy of the people is being touched directly.
Exactly. You know,
And that is why they decided that, look, let's have another 4 years of this new style of leadership.
Thank you.
They are not, it's not a rejection of anybody.
Aha.
It's an acceptance.
Thank
an
you very much.
appreciation of the current administration.
Thank you, Derek.
And that's why the election went the way it did.
for bringing it to that particular aspect of the conversation. What the campaigns were made, propositions would have been sold, and clearly the electorate, you know, bought the wares, to continue the metaphor, bought the wares of Governor Oyetola. And the strange part of this is that, you know, there's some undercurrents. Take, for instance, Ogbeni Rauf or, you know, Aregbesola. The point has been out there that he was betrayed. He worked closely. As soon as he turned his back, everything was done to dismantle his legacy. And so maybe there was a lot of bitterness going in towards the election. But apparently, the electorate, listening to the campaigns, bought what they thought was the more reasonable story.
Okay, let's be empirical. One of the strongest person in the camp of Ogbeni, the former speaker, Najim Salam, he hails from Ejigbo. He was a speaker for 8 years. The road to his town was unpassable for that 8 years. The township road was in a terrible state. Governor Oyetola came, fixed the 25 kilometers road, township road 3.8, General Hospital Ejigbo completely fixed. He has done a lot. On that day, on Saturday, I overheard people saying, Ento Shadure yi, because the party members also know that it will be easy to campaign for this man. It will be easy to sell this man. Now, coming to issue of legacy, I keep on saying that chunk of us in the cabinet are Ogbeni's product. We have a 34 cabinet men, the staff. About 28 of us work directly or indirectly with Ogbeni. Now, Ogbeni said it on the day he was going that this is a new governor. If there's a need for us to change anything, he would look at it and the party. We came up with a lot of things. Some failed, some worked well. The ones that failed, no state emulated. I'll give a typical example. We came up with Anthem. Because it worked, state emulated it. We came up with OES. Other states emulated the youth empowerment program. We came up with single uniform. Who emulated it? Nobody, because it failed.
Okay.
We changed the name of school. Nobody emulated because it failed. So what did we do? We just reviewed it.
Okay, and you wouldn't look at that as betrayal.
No. Uncle, let me just say this. I'm the commissioner for works.
Sure.
We inherited a lot of road from the last administration. We are completing this road. Exactly. We are sustaining that legacy because it's working. Exactly. It's what we need. A typical example is Gboyega road. We met it at 29%. Today we've taken it to almost 40-something percent. We are sustaining that because it is what people want.
Okay. Well, you know, our people say, I don't know how to say in English, you know.
No, don't get it wrong.
No, I'm just saying that there clearly was some disagreement that sort of evolved between the two parties that then led to, you know, the scenario.
I think let me offer
you know what, gentlemen, I want to hear from both of you, but Uche in Oka, Anambra has been holding on all that while, but I want you to return to this point. Good morning, Mr. Uche in Oka.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Yori.
Good morning, sir.
And good morning, the panelists.
Sure.
Good morning, the panelists.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good morning.
I think the governor in Osun State is doing well.
I'm going to have to take some responsibility for that because I couldn't get to you because the two juggernauts, you know, had important points to make. So sorry about that. I'll see if I can do better next time. But let me, the question that you have both touched on, let me also allow Honorable Olatunji, so that he doesn't feel isolated from the conversation, to touch on as well. That whole question about whatever brought about the rancor, this is not the time to start analyzing all of that, but there was a whole matter about legacy being, you know, dismantled and all of that kind of thing, which you've heard people in studio comment on. How would say you, sir?
Well, let me say this loud and clear. The 8 years of Ogbeni Aregbesola in our state left footprint that cannot be erased. It wasn't the level of infrastructure that he inherited in 2010 that he left when he was living in 2018. There were so many things we can talk about that he left as legacy. So that cannot be taught. However, life itself is dynamic. And of course, every government policy must also respond to the aspirations and the yearnings of the people. They are not casted in stones. And so the coming of Oyetola into the administration of Osun should not be seen as an attempt to rubbish the legacy of Ogbeni. It should rather be seen as one that has come to build on it. And if I want to explain this in economic terms, I would say Ogbeni came and he brought development into Osun. When the state is developing, the next thing you must do is you must begin to look at sustainable development. So if Governor Oyetola has been committed to the sustainable development of this state, someone laid the foundation and someone is building on it.
Okay.
If my grandfather handed over a bungalow to me with 12 rooms and 2 toilets, if I grow up and I say because that is the building that my father handed over to me, I want it to remain so, I'm sure my grandfather will not be happy. But if I turn that bungalow into a story building, if I convert the 12 rooms with 2 toilets to mean that each room comes with its own toilet, if I introduce pipe pump water and I fence it and I paint it and I change the roof, I added value. Yes, it's not the same bungalow that my father handed over to me, but it's now a building that is better than what my father handled. That means that
I get the point. I get the point you're making, Honorable. I get the point you're making, Honorable. Mr. George in Ikeja, so sorry to have kept you waiting. Go ahead, please.
Uncle Yori, and good morning to all your guests.
Indeed, thank you.
Uncle Yori, left for me, the elections that took place in Osun, I watched everything, and the primary elections have come and gone. But that is not the main election. Yeah. Uncle Yori, what I can see, I've also heard former Governor Aregbesola speak, talking and complaining bitterly about what is going on in the party and the state. He was even mentioning Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and all that. We cannot pretend that there is nothing wrong on ground. The current governor, I recall he was the chief of staff to Governor Aregbesola. I don't know why Nigerian politicians are always having this issue. When you hand over to somebody, you want that person to be doing your bidding all the time, and when that person resists, issues like this come up and all that. It should be managed. What I see coming up in Osun is not good for the party. Any governor in power will always hold structures and use it to win elections. That's how it is in Nigeria here. But that is not all. You remember that even Aregbesol's time, he had issues with coming for the second term. He had to reach out to former governors that he was not in good terms with. If Governor Oyetola does not need Aregbesola today, he might need him again tomorrow. So the party in Osun State should be made stable. Somebody somewhere should intervene to ensure that there is peace in that party as a state.
Indeed.
That's my recommendation.
Thank you very much, Mr. George. Interesting. I know I said I was going to come back to an issue you were making, but Mr. George sort of moved it forward a bit. It reminded me of the maxim, is it a maxim, is saying in politics, that in politics there are no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, only permanent interests. My guess is that politicians being what they are, no matter how bad it looks to neophytes or non-political innocent people walking the streets, reconciliation is almost a necessity.
It's inevitable.
It's inevitable if the party is going to go forward into the election that Mr. George was talking about with a cohesive house. We've seen all sorts of memes. What was referred to by Mr. George there, Ogbeni Aregbesola taking on, Asiwaju directly. In spite of how many might have felt about that, it's not entirely out of the realm of conjecture that there will be a resolution of these matters.
Of course, especially as it concerns Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. One thing everybody gives to him is his large heart. The moment I listened to him talk sometimes ago, and he said, before somebody offends him, he has already forgiven the person. Mm-hmm. And they ask him, he said people will ask him why, and we tell them that if I don't forgive him of that particular offense, how are we going to relate and he will offend me again? And that tells you
that capacity,
the kind of mind he has, the capacity
that
to
reported
forgive.
capacity.
So I believe very strongly that there is need for reconciliation in Osun. I believe very strongly that the APC as a ruling party in Osun going into an election against the People's Democratic Party that has always maintained very strong opposition to the APC in Osun, whatever it is, the party needs to put all its arsenals together. How can this be done? In spite of the fact that the result speaks volume of who is in charge of the party, in spite of the fact that the result also touch on what the people of Osun really want, there is need to ensure that dissenting voices are appealed to, so that working together, victory is assured. Aregbesola, for me, is not a man. Somebody said Oyetola was Aregbe's chief of staff for 8 years, and this shouldn't be happening between them. I want to remind such people that Aregbesola was commissioner of works for Asiwaju for 8 years. All this should come into consideration. Well, and I believe that having worked together, all of them, they'll find a way.
Exactly. And it's interesting that point you made about Asiwaju, the reported capacity, those who are close to him will know. Almost, the capacity of the man to forgive and move on from there, no doubt is going to be key in all of this, because as Dare said, as for speaking for Asiwaju, which not that he's a spokesman for Asiwaju, but you know what I mean. Speaking because the reputation is out there that there's almost nothing the man can't forgive. Yeah. So even this probably will come to pass. But you wanted to make Mazi Okorafor, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, our guests in the studio.
Yeah.
Good morning. The Osun State election just finished. There is need for politicians, whether you are a former governor or anything you may be, finish your tenure and go and say bye-bye. Not when you finish your tenure, you're still looking backward. It doesn't make healthy to our politics. Now, look, let us borrow a leaf from outside Nigeria. Have you seen any governor outside Nigeria? Let everybody, we use America, Britain. Where they just sit down and be watching what is happening. But here, you have finished your tenure, you still want to bring us. This essence of this issue of this Godfather, why must you continue? And for as far as I'm concerned, the minister has no business with that. Allow people in there, let them test their own potential, let them test their own, whether they have the power to move the state. Not when you come, you plant. When you plant, you stay where you are just dictating who will be a commissioner, who will be special assistant, the local government. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Nigeria should stop all this issue of Godfatherism. Look, you see what is happening in Lagos. When you finish, you go your way, see that. What was the former governor that did second thing before the Samuel? Have you ever had it coming to make a decision? It doesn't make sense. People should put it from Lagos and other states. Not Lagos, what is happening. Not when you sit down in Abuja dictating it. It's not healthy. Look, we should stop all this politics of Godfatherism.
Okay, Mazi. Okay, Mazi. Thank you very much, Mazi Okorafor. Okay, just before we go on break, a paper, the Cable online newspaper is reporting this morning that, Asiwaju says, I'm prepared to fight dirty. Every time something comes up, you want to take on the lion of Bodyland, and there are people actually lining up to volunteer, but that nothing, no intimidation whatsoever will stop him from this. It's a sort of a side note, but let's go on break, and if you wish, you comment on that when we come back. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Okay, then, welcome back. We're looking at, the successful resolution of the party primary for governorship in Osun State. That event has come and gone. It has been won by the incumbent governor, which is that's the party leaders. That is the AP Asiwaju Tinubu's preferred person, and indeed the electorate made it so. And we're talking about the almost infinite capacity of the man Asiwaju to forget anything. But then, as I was saying, as we were going to break, that our paper says, and I'm quoting the headline here, "I'm ready to fight dirty," says Tinubu in his presidential bid, meaning that probably there is a limit. Though still you say infinite patience, but there is a limit beyond when we get to that limit, then I shall have to start responding. But still, reconciliation is center court.
Well, Uncle Yori, we must get this clearly. We made a lot of effort to reconcile the party in Osun. Even till a few days to the primaries, there were still efforts. But we discovered something. Democracy is about the people. I spoke with someone in the opposing camp that, okay, let us reconcile. And he said, if you want us to reconcile with you, you have to reverse back to the old school uniform. The people that voted us in are saying they don't want it. So you can't give us that as a condition. And I must also remind you that if you look at where you have former governors and incumbent governors fighting in most states, they never reconciled until the election. Few days to the primaries, they still spoke with other camp. Let's reconcile. They insisted that let's go into the contest. Okay. And we have gone into the contest now. We'll still open the channel for reconciliation, but not at the detriment of the electorate.
Indeed, not with impossible conditions.
And on the Asiwaju's thing, let me also say this.
Yes.
Part of Asiwaju's strength is our strength as a party. It's unfortunate the former governor spoke the way he spoke about Asiwaju. But we also showed him in his word that Asiwaju is in control of his word through we the Asiwaju's boys. And I'm sure the former governor will straight his step.
With the results.
With the results.
Good morning, Ada. Thank you very much for holding on. Please go ahead now.
Good morning, Mr. Yori and your guests. Ada calling from Jos Plateau State.
Go on.
I congratulate the people of Osun for conducting a peaceful governorship primary. Two factors came into play. The good works of the governor and the power of incumbency. Having said that, it's not over until it's over. The governor should reach out to the losers and carry them along to be able to accomplish the same feat in the election proper. Contestants should learn to imbibe the spirit of sportsmanship. This is what is lacking in our among the political class. Now, as for the comment made by Asiwaju, that is ready to fight dirty or whatever, I will advise him and his supporters to please tell him to apply some emotional intelligence and not allow politicians like himself to make him lose his cool. When the buffaloes gather, the lions run away. Mr. Yori, you remember when they did we did somewhere, and I told you the train has left the station. That is what is happening now. Every place is shaking because Asiwaju has thrown in his hat. But all I want to say here is that if they frustrate him, if they decide to remove the ladder, if they decide to forget, like the hen in our local parlance, they said that a hen doesn't forget the person who kind of took care of it during the rainy season. If they decide to do that, Asiwaju can still accomplish his ambition using an entrepreneurial party. There are so many entrepreneurial parties. He can make use of it. I wish him all the best. God bless Nigeria. Let's not give up on this country.
Thank you very much, Ada. Let me give you to Honorable Tunde Olatunji, a chance to also relate to, Ada just referred to it again. We're talking about the infinite patience of Asiwaju, but again, some might say surprise statement. I think it was made at the Alaafin of Oyo's Palace here yesterday. If need be, he's ready to fight dirty. Enough is enough. In the one breath, we say the man has infinite patience. At the same time, it looks like he's sounding a warning, but infinite within reasonable limits. You go so far, we shall react.
Well, I think if we quote Asiwaju out of context, we may not really get what exactly he's actually trying to say. Asiwaju is not saying that he's ready to discard that very strong virtue of patience that he has. But what he's simply saying is that it is not supposed to be mistaken for a sign of cowardice. Like they say that the gentility of a leopard should not be mistaken for a sign of cowardice. But Asiwaju will continue to be that a man who has that strong virtue of patience and for being able to forgive. But of course, in every toolbox of a great leader, there's so many instruments that must be deployed as and when it is necessary. So I see nothing changing in terms of
that's not that. That's not that. Let me quickly go to Abeokuta. Mr. Wosonya is waiting to join the conversation. Good morning, Mr. Wosonya.
Yeah, good morning, Uncle Yeri.
Thank you for calling in, sir.
Yeah, please, quickly, I want to talk about this godfatherism we are talking about, because I see...
We're not talking about godfatherism.
No. I'm talking about the election in Osun State.
Oh, okay.
Godfatherism issue. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Issue about Aregbesola, the governor of Osun State. I think just like somebody was just saying now, it's a matter that they're supposed to come. The primary has passed. They're supposed to settle. If the governor feels that maybe he has won the primary, the main election is coming. Because if they don't settle their hope, there will be a very big problem for APC there. And you see, this is what we are talking. We are condemning godfatherism. And I'm hearing your guys talking about Asiwaju, that the defeat is a... Asiwaju is godfatherism issue they are talking about. That's what they're saying. If you say Aregbesola is doing godfatherism, and you are praising Asiwaju, what does Asiwaju stand for? You are saying he's your godfather. That's what you are saying. And you are condemning Aregbesola, who wants to be a godfatherism in Osun State.
Okay. I get the point that you are making. Well, thank you very much for contributing it. We take everything...
I want to...
Okay, yes, please.
You see, we must continue to put issues in perspective. When we talk about Osun, and a former governor of Osun, in relating to issues in his state, leaves the people in the state and talks about someone else somewhere as in manners that other people feel are not too good. Now, don't forget Asiwaju is a national leader of the All People's Congress. Of the APC. Either in Osun, or in Lagos, or in Kano. He is a leader of the party. And every right-thinking member of that party would see an insult on Asiwaju as an insult on the party. So, I think what the commissioner from Osun is trying to say is that as people who believe in Asiwaju's leadership of the party, they took exception to what Rauf said, and with their votes, they proved that Asiwaju is still a leader of the party. That aside, we must also agree with the last speaker.
And it wasn't a marginal showing.
It was a total confirmation.
Even Oyetola, I have heard reports saying, his men saying that they were actually surprised at the extent of the thrashing.
Still on the issue of reconciliation.
Yes.
We must not run away from it. I am very conversant with the politics of Osun. And I know that aside People's Democratic Party, there are other forces in Osun waiting to utilize any slight slip that might happen within the ranks of the ruling party.
Okay, let me hear from the commissioner now. What did you want to interject?
Well, the good thing about direct primary is it has given every party member the power beyond the leadership. And once the party member comes together, 94% are saying this is who we want. They see a major stake in that person. And that would also be good if at the national level, we can use that for the parties primary, because Asiwaju will be a candidate to beat, no doubt. And I need to come back to the issue of reconciliation. Our position is that we are open to genuine reconciliation. We need people for election.
Okay.
We need genuine reconciliation, not reconciliation of saying
94%. 94% victory is almost unheard of. I mean, you couldn't have been clearer. But Femi in River State. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir, and good morning to your guest.
Sure.
Good morning.
Go ahead, please.
My contribution is this: politics is science when it's devoid of reasoning.
Politics is science when it is devoid of reasoning.
Reading.
Okay. Carry on, please.
Politics we speak. Science we speak. For Asiwaju coming, if you look at even within his own enclave, that is the southwest, if you put the two of them and you take opinion poll within the Southwest, whom do we put forward, Asiwaju or Osinbajo? The result will speak for itself. If you now go to the generality of the country,
Femi, have you not let a separate conversation that we are not having now bleed into this one? Please, I understand, but please don't let's diffuse the waters. We're in Osun right now. We're in Osun. We're looking at the outcome of the Osun election. We're saying it went as most right-thinking people expected. You might want to comment on that, please.
If it goes national and you pick the two of them, whom are you going to vote for? The result will speak for itself. Let us put our right feet outside.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for calling in. Who did I interrupt?
Commissioner was talking.
Yeah, the commissioner was speaking.
So, the good thing about direct primary is it has returned power to the people, and politics is about structure of the party. It's about the structure that you have. So, we are hoping to generate reconciliation, but not reconciliation of saying go back to single uniform and all that.
Okay.
So we also want those to work, and we know Ogbeni is a true Democrat. Ogbeni won't go to another party. I can vouch for him. He's my boss. He won't go to another party. So I'm sure we're going to work together.
You can't vouch for him, by which I mean that when Ogbeni Aregbesola, when he made the statements he had made, you, I'm sure, would have been saying to me 2 months before that statement that no, it doesn't matter how bad things, I can never get to that extent. I can vouch for him.
Yeah, but not that Ogbeni will go to PDP. I can vouch that Ogbeni will not go to PDP. Ogbeni will work for us.
Okay, Honorable, we are two honorables here. Talking about Honorable Olatunji, reconciliation. I mean, it's a given. It has to come in order to move forward, right? Is that your thinking too?
Well, for me, reconciliation is an option that must be explored. Mr. Governor, in his speech after being declared the winner of the primary election, made it very clear too. He extended olive branches to the other two aspirants, and he said we should work together for the success of our party, and that is where we all stand.
At least that's
like we rightly said. When
that kick-started. That kick-starts it. That just kick-starts the process because egos are probably still a bit sore. I mean, we're talking about 94% here.
I know, and that's
we're talking about 94%.
Anybody
exactly. But then the governor did say the right things that we all are winners. That is, maybe he was meaning that we all as APC family members are winners.
No, something happened that Saturday.
Sorry, I think Honorable Olatunji was still saying something.
Hello?
Yes, please continue, Honorable Olatunji.
Yes, please. So like I said, we are hoping to generate reconciliation. We want a big united party. Mr. Governor said a few days ago that it's a family affair, it's one big family. And we also believe that for those other aspirants who are exhausted, they are right within the party to say they also want to aspire to be the governor. Having exhausted that, I think by now, in the interest of the party, they should be willing to join hands with us. If anybody is thinking outside, having the dummies.
Okay, but as has been pointed out by Ada, I think also Mr. George, and also peripherally in studio here, this is over and done with now. It was quite important, it was crucial, but the real battle is ahead, and this was within the family. Yeah. Now you're going to have people, that are not from the family, and all bets are off, and everybody. In fact, they're probably going to be hoping, whoever is also interested in the governorship of Osun when it comes to the election, they're going to be hoping that APC doesn't resolve this so that they can exploit these cracks.
Because in politics, your disadvantage,
of course,
is the advantage of your opponent. And the Osun is a very peculiar state. The people do make the mistake of thinking that Osun voters are not enlightened. But I can tell you that having covered elections in that state in the last 20 years, I can tell you that they have one of the most enlightened electorate in the country. And you will see that coming to fore again at the general election. The PDP very soon will also be resolving who its candidate will be. But you know what I think is to the advantage of APC while all this is going on? The PDP itself is not settled. I can almost tell you that their situation is as bad, if not worse.
Okay. Easy in Bayelsa. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Go ahead, please.
The very interesting topic you have this morning is the issues of godfatherism.
Yeah.
Yeah, how are you? The issues of godfatherism have come to play in our Nigerian politics. It's very unfortunate that our leaders have not realized that they need to check the issues. That's happened all over. There's no how you install a governor and you still want to come back again to restore yourself. It's so sad. Because we need to understand that democracy is for the masses. And the politicians have failed to realize those facts. You see.
Okay. Thank you very much for calling in, Easy. Calling in from Bayelsa. I appreciate your call. This, we were making the point about it's going out there to do battle. That is the main contest. And, you know, you just want everybody to be on the same page. It doesn't matter.
We're going to try our best. But let me tell you this. What happened on South, they also sent signal to the opposition. Yeah. For us, we are not going to sleep because of what happened on Saturday. We had over 200,000 votes. If we can work more on everybody that came out to ensure that get 1 or 2 more voters, we'll win the election. And I must also say this, that Osun is a sophisticated state. Your performance will determine what happened. Yesterday, we still had a meeting on roads that we need to fix. And the governor has directed that go fix it.
So governors, yesterday?
Yes.
It means the work is continuing.
Governors is not stopping in Osun.
Okay. But in any case, you began to look at where this might be going when no less a personality than Kabiyesi Aregbesola, when he of Ijesha land, and Aregbe is an Ijesha man, when he had said, why are you disturbing yourself? Go and sit down. You know, people will vote for you. Your work has shown what you has spoken for you. First of all, I thought royal palaces were not supposed to be involved in politics.
They are not devoid of opinions. That has been settled. What they shouldn't do and what they must not do is to go out there and start campaigning for any candidate.
Okay.
But that does not take away their opinion. Okay. What Aregbesola expressed must be Baba's opinion. But let me also say this as we talk about the general election.
Very, very briefly, please, because
not everybody that voted in the APC primaries are having INEC cards. There are those who are having the cards that will be voting in general election that do not belong to any of the parties. So the APC, as a party wishing and willing to win election, must continue to impress the general electorate beyond party affiliations.
Okay.
And I think that is where what Kabiyesi is saying comes to play. The governor, with his performance, has spoken to the people of Osun, irrespective of whether they are PDP members or APC members or not aligned, which is the third category. So if his performance is creditable and acceptable enough to the people, really, the Kabiyesi is right.
Okay.
He can go to bed.
He said so.
And that's the commissioner saying work continues.
He said so.
I know.
He also, Kabiyesi also did a slight side pass about Ijesha. People are not known for rascality. There was a slight, he just passed the ball slightly, you know. I don't know if anybody connected with it. But, you see, let me come back to you, sir. Honorable Olatunji.
I'm an Ijesha man. I would.
Yes, let me just come back to you. Okay, yes, I'm coming to you after Honorable Olatunji. The battle, the real proper battle is the election proper. How optimistic are you that you will be ready as a party, as a political machine, when the time comes in Osun?
I can say with a very sense of modesty and confidence that I'm optimistic that our party will succeed at the general polls come July 16th. The goodwill that the governor enjoys in the state of Osun today, the goodwill that our party enjoys in the state of Osun today. You know, the leadership, Mr. Governor worked for it, he earned it, and he deserves it. And that's why an average...
All of that is going to stand him in good stead. I'm sorry to rush you, sir, but we've run out of time. But I hear what you're saying, sir, that all of that is going to stand him in very good stead. Okay, coming to studio now, Honorable. Honorable Remi Omowaye, first of all, thank you for dropping by. It's not a small journey coming all the way from that place. But all's well that ends well at this stage. I think we're going to have to take this thing stage by stage, right? But you said you were going to comment, if you can do so very, very briefly, on Aramola was saying that Ijecha people are not known for rascality.
I'm not going to talk on that.
Oh, that's not the one you want to talk about.
Let me also give this information on Kuyeri. Osun registered for the voters registration, INEC voters registration, did the highest percentage of registration. That is to tell you that the people are doing that for a reason.
Okay.
So they want to speak with one voice. And what happened on Saturday is an indication of what is going to happen. When it comes to the election proper, people would come out en masse to speak with one voice. As a party and as a major stakeholder, we are not averse to reconciliation, but genuine reconciliation. And we will not see this victory as something that will make us relax. We are going all out to ensure that when it comes to the general election, we would come up with resounding victory, because our Osun election will determine what will happen in 2023.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Remi Omowaye. Also, thanks to you, Honorable Tunde Olatunji, via Zoom. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Indeed, and Dari Odufuokon, Assistant Editor at The Nation. Thank you very much as well. That's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I'm Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.